I'm going to take you on a little tour of your mind, of how my mind works. I'm going to talk about gypsies, gypsum, the moon, fire, and crystals. Let's walk you through this. Gypsies. The term, well, you'd have to do a little more research than just trusting, say, the first thing that pops up on the Google. But we can play around with it. Gypsies. This is where you get your GPS. We call it a GPS. It's for a gypsy. Because gypsies roam places. Roma. Now they say the original gypsies here come from Punjab in India. I don't know. I don't know about that. People mistakenly thought they were Egyptian, so gypt would give you gypsies. Now, that's a place to start this little thought game, this little process for you. Gypsies, think about what they are and the way that people identify them. What are they? They're wanderers. They always have stones and crystals, and they're peculiar type people. You might remember Brad Pitt in the movie Snatch. He was a boxer, a gypsy. He talked funny, was very, very interesting in that movie as well, what the gypsies are. Gypsum. It's what your house is made of. The drywall is gypsum. Your ceiling, the walls. And we're going to talk about a school. We're going to talk about a school in a second, and fire drills. Maybe you've already figured out where I'm going with this, but I'll walk you right through it. Because I've had this strange thought for a long time about building materials, and this was well before that those holographic planes or missiles or whatever, explosions and buildings falling down and all of that. This was prior to that. The thought is, your house is made of gypsum, which is a crystal. Now, before I ask a question, gypsum is a crystal. It comes from the word moon, the Greek word for moon, and what the moon represents, and the whole identity of Isis, or the moon, or the qualities of what the moon is. It's even when you get in the alabaster jar, gypsum. It's a crystal. Have you ever taken a blowtorch to a crystal? You ever tried to light a crystal on fire? You ever seen any kind of crystal, or a diamond, or a ruby, quartz even? Can't light it on fire. How much energy and heat would it take to light that on fire? I haven't done the research for the exact number, but you can visualize that. You can think about that, and then think about the house that you live in. All the houses everywhere, in every way, are made to be fire retardant, flame retardant. How do houses catch on fire? How does a house fire, other than the things and objects in the house, such as, well, the curtain, or maybe the chair, or maybe that thing over there, the wooden thing. And even at that, it'd be a real tough time getting a fire started on those things. But a house, how does a house burn down? I mean, we've all seen it, like on the television. We've all seen here they pour gasoline over everything, and they show you how they put the fire out and all of this. But what's burning is the gas. What's burning is the fume. What's burning is not there's no gypsum. They're not building those houses that they're showing you how they're burning down a house and putting it out with water. What they're not with, I'm suggesting something of the gypsies, of the illusion, of the workers of fire, of what a crystal is, what the moon is. How does a house catch on fire? I mean, we've seen houses that were burnt down, maybe some real old ones that were just made of wood, but you'd really have to burn down a house. That's you're not burning down a house with gypsum in it. It can't happen. Everything that goes into building a house is so it won't burn down, because it's made out of crystal. You look at the wall and you see paint. Even that paint is made so it doesn't burn. But maybe the paint, maybe the paper on the gypsum will burn, but not the gypsum, not the and to get to the point of burning down the framework of houses. Like even now, like most houses have, I mean, not most, but they use metal instead of 2x4s. And even those 2x4s, that's a really tough time to get them started on a fire. You go into school and there's always a fire drill. Whenever you were a kid, you're walk through this system, and even the adults there, even the teachers, even like they believe in the fire drill. How could a school catch on fire? Have you ever tried to light? I'm looking at what a chimney is. It's stone. It's masonry. A fireplace doesn't catch on fire, does it? It can't. It's made out of rock. You can't light that on fire. It's damn near impossible. And that's why you can put a fire in a fireplace, and it goes up the chimney. What's a school is always made of bricks, mortar. The floors are made of tile, and the walls, everything in a school. There's no way a school could catch on fire. A whole school catches on fire? Doesn't even make any sense. How could it? Where? What's catching on fire? How? What is? But yet there's how many fire drills during school? They used to teach kids to get under their desk during a tornado, or do this or these ridiculous things. A fire drill? How ridiculous that is? How often? Alarm goes off. Everybody's instructed. Oh, there's the bell. Go do the thing. It's a fire drill. Don't worry. The school's really not on fire, because it couldn't be. So I do wonder. It's always interesting whenever there's an emergency, whenever there's something. All of the firemen show up to somebody breaking their leg. Why a fireman and an ambulance? You know how big? Why is a fire truck have to be there? It's giant. There's no. Well, shouldn't if someone breaks their leg, shouldn't the ambulances actually be people, say, on motorcycles, so they can just get around? They don't need. Well, you wouldn't need a giant ambulance. It's so hard to get places. I mean, yeah, there's all sorts of, old people, heart attacks and dying. Like they're hurting themselves, and people need ambulances. I'm not. Don't get me wrong here. It seems like there'd be an easier way to do it. It seemed to be. You wouldn't need that giant piece of ambulance. You wouldn't need a fire truck to come to someone falling down a flight of stairs, which old people, and this happens. But yet, here's a fire truck. Why? How is a school catching on fire? How is a house burning down? It's made out of gypsum. It's crystals. Try to light a crystal on fire. This is just a little journey into the way that Zen's mind works. What goes on in my curious little spot in between my ears, behind my eyeballs. And I think about gypsies and what the letters and the words are. Gypsies and gypsum and the GPS and firemen and fires. And what are the walls made of? And I don't know, man. It's a why in school do they make kids run around at the sound of the bell, sound of the alarm at a school? It's not catching on fire. It can't. It's built not to. So why is it done? Take care, y'all.